In this video, today I'm going to be teaching you guys how to use movement in Bad Business to become a better player. Now, the given here is that I'm not the best player in Bad Business by any means. However, I have played the game up to the max level and I feel pretty good about myself. So I feel like I'm okay to at least talk about how I personally use movement to make myself better in the game. Another thing real fast as well is that this video will not be like my other videos on my channel. It's going to be a little bit different considering that this is kind of like a tutorial slash guide sort of thing. And it's less focused on entertainment, but more focused on teaching you, as well as hopefully it can be entertaining. Anyways, I'm not gonna waste any more of your time. Let's go ahead and get straight into the video. So we have the first thing here where we can run around and just fire at an enemy and then keep firing, maybe do a reload while sprinting, you know, just keep doing that over and over again. Now that's the first step. That's okay. It's not bad, but it can be improved upon. Whenever you're not using your primary, you can be using your melee and jump sliding like I am now. Or, you know, you could just do normal sliding or jump sliding. You don't have to be using your melee. It works with anything. But this is also another step because you're harder to hit when you're moving around the map like this. Now, would I want to fight while using this? I mean, you can if you master it, but you're not going to get a lot of shots off if you're trying to go in and out of cover like this. You know what I mean? Like, it works, but it's mainly used for movement. As an example, let's say that I'm getting chased from this area. I can go up this building here. I can jump out this window, land on this train, go back over here, jump off this, and go right back into the building, and then I may have lost the person chasing me. So it's really good for using movement, or if I'm trying to get back into cover, I'm half HP, and I need to get over to, let's just say I'm going to this like train thing that fell over. I could jump and slide like I was doing before, and then next thing you know, I'm in this train, and I can also use this train to jump out and get on top of it as well. So there's a lot of things that you can do. So that's the first part of movement in my mind, is the ability to run away and not get hit by more bullets than you have to. So if you know how to slide, which is just sprinting and then pressing C, then you do that while jumping in midair, because it makes you even harder to hit, I feel. Another thing to keep in mind as well is vaulting. I don't know what it is, but vaulting in Bad Business is a huge thing that lets you do some crazy things in the game. You don't have to press any extra buttons. All you have to do is just jump into an object and it will make you vault it like that. The reason why I say that this is important is because you can do a lot of things while just making sure that you're at the exact height for vaulting. The example I gave earlier was you could jump into this and vault. You could jump off of this and vault into here, or onto the windowsill by accident. But you could jump off of here and go into the building by vaulting into the window. You could vault out of that window and back up to here. So vaulting is huge in this as well. Now, this is all just moving around the map. This isn't really applying it in combat. This is for you to move around the map efficiently and get into places where you want to be, so that way you get a vantage point to fight opponents and stuff like that. So now let's actually talk about the movement that you can use in combat. The first main one that's really popular, and more than likely if you ran into a really good player, they've used this against you. This is called a super jump. I'm just going to show what it is first before I explain it. So from there, I got up to here without having to go like maybe over here and then trying to vault over there and stuff like that. Or a one that would be really useful here is that, let's say I wanted to get onto this building. I can just super jump on over to that like this. You wouldn't be able to do that normally, but because I use a super jump, I was able to get up here very quickly. So the first thing here that I have to warn you guys about for super jumping, it does not work efficiently if you have 60 frames per second or less on Roblox. So if you go ahead and press Shift F5, if you're at exactly 60 frames per second, I would recommend looking into a Roblox FPS unlocker. But because I already have an FPS unlocker and I run at 60 frames efficiently, when I activate the FPS unlocker, it allows me to have more frames, and that's why I have 200 frames per second right here. So because of this little change with FPS, I'm able to do a huge super jump rather than a kind of tiny one. Don't get me wrong, you can still super jump with 60 frames. It's just not going to be as good for whatever reason. Now, the way to super jump is pretty simple. You just have to go to an object that you know that you can sprint and vault over like this. And what you can do is you go prone next to it, and then when you run into it and jump at the same time, so you're just sprinting into the box and then you're also vaulting at the same time, you do a huge jump. It gives you like a huge boost for your jump. And it's extremely useful to get from place to place. Like I could get from over here onto the top of that building with ease. Like so. It wasn't perfect, but you get the idea. Also, since you guys have gotten this far in the video, I want to show something that's completely random and completely off topic. But let's say that you want to get into this building from the top of it in a really weird way. If you go beneath an object and you have like a little thing in front of you like this, and then you just like crouch or something under it, it teleports you inside the building, like the one block under it. So it's weird, but I found that out by just getting ready to make this video. But now here's the thing. I only showed you that you can do it forwards, but I didn't tell you that you can also do it diagonal as well. So you can do a super jump to the right and to the left. So if I hold W and D and sprint and I do the super jump, I can do the super jump while holding my gun and strafing to the right a little bit. You can do the same thing with W and A and going to the left. Now Now you might be asking, why is this good for combat? It's good for moving around the map, and it's also good for combat because let's say I'm being chased between these two trains or something, and I juke them out by sliding behind these crates or something, and then I get low, I whip out my gun, and I do a super jump. I will be in the air. They're going to be looking for me right here, and then I'll be all the way up here by the time that they peek or something like that. It's kind of a general idea of what would happen, but if I were to super jump, they wouldn't expect me to go right here that quickly, and they would still be aiming around here. Now, one of the things I end up doing a lot, though, is that jump slide I kept talking about, so make sure that you guys keep doing that. I also want to go back to the vaulting thing real fast, because I also want to explain how truly important it is a little bit more, because I can get on top of this with only doing one jump. How I do that is I jump onto this metal piece, this steel bar or whatever. I don't know what the actual name of it is. And when I jump onto it and vault, I can vault off of this, and then I can vault off of like this little corner area right here and get up to the top. Like that. And the reason why that's important is I waste less time getting up there because I jump onto this and then I jump up here. That just takes a little bit of extra time. If you master things like this on certain maps, because there are a couple maps who have things like this where you could do a double vault into a place, then yeah, this is very, very key to get up there quickly. Now, one of the things I do a lot, and I'm pretty sure a lot of other players do this too, is you jump a lot while you're trying to win gunfights. I've even seen people do this. They lean left and right while fighting. This is something that I don't do. I hate this. If you do that, I'm sorry. I'm not hating on this style or anything. I'm just saying that it's too hard for me to do. I don't like that. But you can always jump while fighting. All you have to do is just master your recoil while actually jumping and fighting. Obviously, it's not going to be the best for long ranging somebody. So if you want to long range someone, maybe you can like slide and then keep sliding and just keep fighting like that. Because remember, when you're sliding, you can aim however you want. You can do a full 360 if you want to while sliding. Don't forget that when you also slide down slopes, you actually go for longer and you go a little bit faster when you're sliding down them. So let's say that there was someone in that window once again. I can slide down this little slope area and keep firing at them for a while still being on the move, instead of having to deal with this walking speed, which is a lot slower than me actually sliding. A huge thing as well is that when you guys are playing Bad Business, you have to get game sense. You have to learn the map. You have to learn how to do the parkour as well. So the more that you play on a map, the more that you learn about the parkour, the easier it will be for you to actually master getting from point A to point B. And when that happens, you're going to be able to get away from people or get to the place where people are at faster. Now, the real reason why I'm deciding to use this map instead of any other map is because there is one key thing about the movement in Bad Business that you can only really find efficiently in this map. If you notice, this part of the building is slanted. It is not fully like a straight block like this is right here. And what you can do with slanted blocks, like slopes in Bad Business, is you can slide against them and it will take you to the top. Whereas if I were to try and slide it into this building right here, it just, I fall dead in the water. So let's say that there is someone on this building, but I don't want to go right onto their building. I can just use this slant right here, and I can get up here and then just fire against them. And this pretty much works for every slope in the game that is kind of like this. I don't know how to explain it good. It's just that if it's a steep slope and you need to get up the building, the fastest and the easiest way for you to get up there is by sliding into it. Now, the thing is be careful when you do slide into it, because you have to be running right into it and slide into it to get up there fast. If you run into it like this and you slide, you're gonna get up there, but it's gonna be a little bit like awkward. As you can see, like it'll get me up there still. It'll just make me sure that I slide against the wall first before I get all the way to the top. And sometimes it doesn't even get you all the way up like that. So be careful with the direction that you slide into these things. So I hope that this video finds you guys well. I hope that this helps you guys a lot. And I hope that you guys don't overcomplicate this, because it genuinely isn't too difficult to fully understand how to do the movement in this game. I feel like the hardest thing to do is genuinely just the super jump. That's probably the hardest thing to master in this, is the super jump, especially because you also have to find a way to use it in actual in-game matches where players are actually going to be firing at you. I will say one last thing though, make sure that you guys learn the maps, because there's a lot of maps that have a certain thing in them where you can vault from like the bottom of a building to the top of a building with one jump, and it's very, very nice for you to be able to do that. You can basically just find shortcuts in maps using parkour. So the more that you play, the more that you watch other players play and things like that, you discover more ways of actually doing parkour. Try to learn from other players, experiment with yourself, and learn maps, okay? That's all I have to say. And without further ado, can't wait to see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye! If I missed anything, leave it in the comment section below.